Welcome back to the Lineout Lab. My name is Peter O'Donnell. Recently, I hosted a webinar on building a lineout menu. I've now put together a few shorter videos looking at various aspects that I discussed in that webinar that you can check out over this series of videos. Before getting into it, if you're new to the channel, please click that like and subscribe button in the bottom right corner of your screen where you get access to loads of additional content from me. Please also like and share the video to help the discussion grow. Thank you. Into each subsection. So for example, and I'm just going to do speed here, is that it's speed to call, it's speed to set, speed to move, and then speed to throw, jump, lift. Okay, and then we move into delivery and speed of delivery even, and quality of delivery. But I think it's really important that you have your principles or your big rocks, whatever it is, and then break it down. You can break each rock down into the small aspects and what does speed to call look like? What does speed to set look like? What does speed to move look like? And we break these down even further. So again, I'll be talking about them all, not necessarily in that order, but certainly with them, certainly throughout today. So for example, speed. One of the things that I think is really important to see is, well, if we look at, we're looking at the Crusaders here, by the way, and I know they're not going great guns at the moment, but we look at how quick they are, basically. So this is in the Super Rugby final. Conditions not brilliant. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. So what we're looking at is the clock. All right. So from this position, they have an exit line out, and then, there's an exit scenario, and the ball crossed the line at nearly 4:15, 4:14, we'll call it. What I want you to look at is at what time the ball is delivered to, well, delivered either off the top into a wrap play or whatever it is. Okay, so within 10 seconds or 11 seconds, we're into a kind of a little wrap kind of type movement. And whatever about that, we don't really care about that. We're forwards. It's just about winning the ball, isn't that right? That's a joke. But what I really like about this, and if I kind of break this down, and I appreciate this is going to be a bit jaggedy because of Zoom, I can't help that. I'll happily send on some of these clips after, no problem. Although they're fairly generic, you can get them easy enough, and I can send you some of the other ones. But if we look at the clock here now, as we fast forward, the thing that I really like here is if you keep an eye on Sam Whitelock and Richie Mwanga. Okay, Richie Mwanga here and Sam Whitelock here, and these two are everyone, all the other forwards are jogging into position. So this is, for me, this is one of my favorite clips of all time because, in terms of lineup, because everyone's just concentrating on their job. And if you look at this, and if you look at the clock, I know it's early in the game, 4 minutes into the game, but it's the statement of intent that I really like. The forwards are just getting set into the lineup. They've heard a call to get set. They don't know where the ball is necessarily going yet. They probably do actually. And that's one thing which you could do is you can call on the go. But you can see Sam Whitelock there in the middle and Richard Mwanga. They're just talking about what they want off this. And they have a fairly good idea anyway. But you can see these guys just hanging on to see, okay, what's the exact call going to be? Right. They have a chat. Camera goes off. Then he makes the call. And literally now the ball is going to be thrown in the air as they approach the line out. The ball's gone. And I know some people say, oh, yeah, you can't throw the ball straight away sometimes. I know you can still aim for it, though. Aim to be that quick if you want. There's absolutely no reason why you can't. Yes, you need to slow the game down sometimes because the ball, you haven't had much possession or whatever it is. You want to control the game, but you can still have the principle of speed in your game, speed in your game. Controlling the game is different, obviously. Then you can still control the game with an amount of speed. You slow the speed down, basically, or whatever it is. But that's one thing that I really think you've got to aim for and aspire to have. Is for me, that speed is a big thing. You may not want speed, and that might not suit your team, and it might not suit you as a coach. This is just something I've focused on, and I think that's a great clip to illustrate it. But then when it comes to the implementation of it, what does that look like? Well, I want speed with technical aspects, that with footwork, and then delivery principles. So, for example, finishing your lift, how do jumpers jump and land? Where do they jump and land? What are those delivery principles like? How do you want your blockers to finish? What sort of height and binds and all that sort of stuff? So we've got to implement that as well early on, I think, straight away. And then the big thing for me is, like, I'm a coach. I actually prefer simple movements. And when I say simple, I'm not talking about easy. I'm just talking about not multiple movements. Okay. That's what I gravitate towards at the start of implementing a lineup menu. And I think, yes, I think most people are probably similar, but I think a lot of coaches, and this isn't you know, this isn't that I have a problem with it. It's just more that it's not necessarily that what I focus on. A lot of coaches, I feel, then move early to multiple movements, and I think I prefer not to, and I prefer not to for a number of reasons. And I can happily go into more detail on this afterwards if you want. But ultimately, I prefer to have simpler, quicker movements where we can basically go back to speed. Basically, that's one of the key things. The second thing is I like to have movements where we win the ball between the 12.5 and the 15 and the 13.5. So, I mean, I'm happy to take the back as well, but a lot of my movements are one between 7.5 meters and 12.5 meters imaginary lines in the line out. So between those zones, or zones 2, 3, and 4. And that's for a lot of consistency. And I think that's good, I think, early on, in particular for building clarity and building momentum early on in the season. Okay. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. And if you're interested in any other additional resources like my subscription service, my Lineout Buddy program, or any of my online courses and programs, you can reach out to me on any of my social media channels or on my email, peter@thelineoutlab.com. Thank you.